Hello, welcome. How's it going? Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Ink demo Will Pottorff live art stream. I'm Stream Pottorff Will. Welcome. Yes. No, hey everybody, thanks for coming out. We're going to be doing a live ink demo tonight. I have some artwork right here, all ready to be inked up. I have my inks over here, my brushes. Everything we're going to do tonight, we got it here. So thanks for coming to hang out with us. So let's do it. It sounds like I'm closing up the show, but I'm not. I'm actually starting it up. Can you believe that? And let's start that by inking. So here we have our piece right here.
You didn't introduce me.
Well, hold up. I'm introducing the piece first. Before I introduce Deanna Burke, my beloved fiance, slash artist, slash illustrator. Any other slashes you want to throw in there, sweetie?
Nope, got it.
All right, well, that's good enough. People, we are rocking and a-rolling tonight, and we are inking and blowing tonight. Oh, boy. So far, so good. Let's just kind of like go through it. We're just going to be doing a quick hour-long ink demo of, let's see. Last week I did a Gambit, like, horror kind of competition to see, like, what folks would like most to see me ink. And, well, we're inking ourselves a Pan's Labyrinth Pale Man. So, hopefully you got your brushes ready. And if not, and you're just here to hang and watch me draw, then more power to you, you know. We'll be taking questions in the chat, and we'll just kind of be hanging, and that's the whole thing, what these are all about. But really quick, the tools of the trade. As always, I'm using my Black Star waterproof India ink. Dr. P.H. Martin's, the best.
The best.
I'm just going to pour that out into my tray over here, and then I'm going to start with my big Utrecht synthetic red sable brush. Ooh. And then we're going to get a rolling, folks. And then we're going to be cooking with some gas. All right. So let's see here. All right, I got that all poured out. Now let's put those first marks. I'm just going to go ahead and hit up the arm right here. And I'm going to be periodically talking about the piece while at the same time just kind of talking about stuff going on in our lives and all that. Like, really, I should have started this out. How are you doing tonight, my beloved Deanna?
Hi, I'm okay. Working on portfolio stuff.
That's right. Deanna is sort of doing some more freelance stuff now, which is pretty exciting. She's got a few jobs that I'm not sure if we really can talk about on the stream right now.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet, but it's very exciting, and we're very stoked that we could nail that down.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a nice transition from working full-time to making the decision to go freelance. I got a nice little chunk of change to ease the process. So, a nice project.
And that always helps.
Me in. Yeah, it was nice. It's nice.
Very nice indeed, folks. And hey, there's one thing I love. It's nice things. That's why I'm doing a pale man right now from Pan's Labyrinth. It's very nice, you know.
It's nice thing.
Not too dissimilar to how I look when I take off my shirt too, actually. Very similar to the pale man.
No, you look way sexier, dude.
Ah, yes, I have less flaps. Just say that. Just say I have less flaps. It's okay.
You got some tone there, sir.
I get toner ink.
Hey,
more
you
like
asked
it.
for it.
Whatever.
You wanted me to tell you what I felt.
All right. You know what? And I appreciate that.
That's how I feel.
Deeply.
I'm very attracted to
I just don't like you're interrupting my self-loathing, and it's not appreciated.
Why would you do that?
Self-loathe?
Yeah.
There's a lot to not like, you know?
Why would you self-loathe? Enough.
Fair enough, because that's the thing. We're doing these... Well, I'm back doing these ink demos, really to kind of stay positive, you know? Turn the new leaf over, the new year. I know 2021 is already shaping up to be, terrible. But hey, we're staying positive, and we're inking.
What does that mean?
It's what it means, exactly what I say it is.
Sir.
Well, fair enough. Okay, hey, maybe someone's a little pessimistic right now, but hey, it's okay. You know what? Tomorrow is always another day.
Listen, it's only going to get better if we believe it's going to get better.
That is true.
If we sit there and go, nope, it's terrible, we're going to see it as terrible. No matter what we do.
Well, fair enough. You always got me there.
So, it's better to maintain a sense of positivity.
A sense of wonder, childlike
even
wonder.
Even if things are bad.
Like in the dark, wondrous world of Pan's Labyrinth, something like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Bringing
exactly
it back
right.
to inking this hand thing. Very great design. Oh my goodness. But yeah, you're right. You know, it is just really about outlook and just sort of like, oh yeah, you really gotta make your own change in the world. It seems somewhat hopeless. Everything I do listen to, podcast-wise, media-wise, it's pretty abysmal. Everyone's kind of like on this dark level.
You want to talk about like making your own world or whatever you want to say. Yeah, the more people talk about it as a negative thing, the more people are going to believe that.
That's fair.
So I don't want to contribute to that. I mean, there is a naivete about not seeing a reality of things, but reframing a situation from negative into a positive one can actually really, really help.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about the power of positive thinking and all that. And it's definitely, like, about your attitude in the face of just kind of like, oh, yeah. It's just been, I think, for a lot of folks, and including myself, I definitely have those dips of, well, I was telling you before, I was talking to my buddy, our buddy, Tim Oliver, on Instagram, about just kind of like equally being psyched, like super psyched to work on like new personal like project things, but at the same time, like in the next moment, be equally kind of frustrated and angry and kind of depressed with like the state of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like fair. I think that is just like a symptom, really, of the times we're living in. But I am staying positive. I think 2021, we're gonna turn a new leaf. We're gonna kickstart my heart. We're gonna girls.
Girls.
Because I'm a live wire. I'm alive. Live wire.
We got this.
I feel like I've got Dr. Feelgood, if you know what I mean.
If only we could listen to and sing along with royalty
feel good. That's all you can do. Because that's the thing. I don't want to pay the boys over at Motley Crue any amount of money.
I think they're good with the money.
Yeah. It's also that thing of like, I feel like... I'm trying to think the last Motley Crue thing I saw. Oh, yeah, right. It was that Motley Crue documentary. Well, not documentary. It was the biopic, so it's actually even a tier below documentary.
Okay.
Where it's like, I'd really prefer... That's the thing about biopics. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Well, this is just my opinion, so whatever. I'd always personally prefer the actual documentary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is that thing of like, ultimately, with every biopic, it always just falls into the same tired trapping of like, they just have to have like all the significant things happen in their life, you know, in a way that just would never really happen. You know, it's just like, I prefer the like the non-narrative nature of like a lot of, I mean, documentaries have narratives, but it's just like the way that like, let's just say, I mean, what was it? The last one of these biopics I watched too was like Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was like all that thing of like, what was it? They had Michael Myers dressed up as like a record exec, being like, "No one's ever gonna headbang to Bohemian Rhapsody in a car driving around," and it's just kind of like, all right, You know, kind of annoying. I don't know. It just, it's like that just never happened, and it's also just a weird like winky eye kind of like, yeah, you know, haha, get it because you know.
What was that?
Well, I'm just saying you're following my luck.
I sort of. I'm having a hard time.
It's okay. But like yeah, it just like is that thing of like I honestly every time I just prefer the yeah, dude, I just kind of prefer the documentary. Get the actual people out and just be like, "Oh yeah, this and this happened," opposed to kind of like all the like weirdly fabricated kind of like,
oh
yeah,
okay.
that's
I think I'm following you now.
Yeah,
Okay.
where it's just kind of like, that's not how it happened. Like, let's be honest, you're just kind of like, you're putting this together because this movie needs to have a narrative. You can't just have like
because life is never a narrative.
Exactly. That's ultimately what I guess I'm trying to say. And that's how I kind of felt about that Motley Crue movie as well. It was just kind of like, oh yeah. And it was also that thing of like, it was a band too that, quite frankly, I'm not the hugest Motley Crue fan. They have one incredible song, Kickstart My Heart, and then everything else is pretty good. But that's about it, you know?
Sorry if I'm weaving in and out just because I'm trying to find a wooden texture.
No, it's all good. I also have a list of topics I wrote out over here actually, just so we could keep on track while I'm inking.
Sweet.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested in saying anything in the chat, go for it. You know, like you have a question, or if you want to like chime in with your opinion, like by all means, because this is a big old hangout. You know.
Big old hangout.
So I do have a list of movies I've seen recently that I wouldn't mind just talking about in general. I'll probably veer off in a minute here and talk about like what I'm inking exactly here. Right now, if you're watching along, if you're inking along, that'd be cool. But I'm just kind of trying to get all the using my biggest brush. Well, my biggest and most pointed, whatever, like fine brush to kind of get all the big portions of this thing inked out, so that later I can just go in with a smaller brush and get all the little details, and then blah blah blah. You know, that's what I'm basically doing. Now,
you're starting with big shapes to go in with. Is that what you just said?
Yes. I thought you were adding to it, so I was kind of taking a quick pause.
I'm just trying to see. Yeah, just trying to clarify.
Yeah, basically. And I'm like, I love this brush too, because it's like, it's good on this paper as well. I'm using Strathmore gray tone paper, multimedia, which is very important for what I'm going to do later when I go into my little ink washes. So that's always fun.
I do love that multimedia paper.
It is a fantastic paper. It's one of those where I'm like, I don't think I'll ever go back to inking on anything else. Maybe the Canson comic book paper. That's pretty solid. But apart from that, this stuff does not quit. That said, I do have a list of movies I have seen in the last since the last stream. And this time, I feel like I'm bringing in more of a positive energy / more of an energy. Last time I did this, it was all over the place. But this time, I'm a little less all over the place. So here we go.
Good.
Yeah. So here we go. Movies I've seen. For the holidays, I did pick up a bunch of horror Blu-rays. And I have kind of been periodically going through them, including the Shout Factory edition, both Scream Factory, that is, of Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. Yeah. Demon Night. I rewatched that literally the other night, and
was I there?
You were coming in and out because a lot of the times, at least in our household, I'll throw on a movie. Either I'll wait for Deanna, and sometimes I won't, like, because you'll just kind of be like in and out of focus, so you just kind of do whatever, you know.
Yeah, I have a hard time sitting through movies because I can't sit still, and I need my fingers to be doing something, and if I'm not completely on edge, I'm my brain just, it's ADHD.
Yeah, basically.
I can't help it. It's kind of stinks.
It's okay. It's also a superpower in a lot of ways.
It allows me to do a lot of multitasking.
Which is fantastic.
It is very helpful.
I will say this. Nothing. I'm not going to say nothing.
Oh, okay.
No, but so I was like, I did throw on Demon Night, and I think you were in and out of like cooking dinner / doing something else. So
Yeah.
I think, but you've seen Demon Night.
Okay.
I think you
Refresh me
have.
on the plot.
Oh, okay, cool. And this is good for anyone who's never seen
Yeah.
Demon Night before either. It's basically about this immortal soldier who's on the run from this evil force, this demon, really, who's trying to get his hands on this ancient relic that this warrior's trying to, like, protect, which is, it's like this weird relic that's gonna give them the, what's the word? It's like one of those MacGuffin kind of things where it's like it gives them gives the dark side the power to turn off the light. Essentially, yeah. It's
Somehow I don't remember this. Maybe it's because.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's the Okay, so it's basically Billy Zane chasing William Sadler to this motel, and they show down with basically Billy Zane conjures up a bunch of demons and traps them in this motel, while William Sadler, with a flask of the blood of Christ, which he uses against the demons and everything, he battles it out with Billy Zane and a whole collection of like residents. If you're hearing like sirens, they're coming for me. Oh no.
They're
gone.
They're
Okay,
gone.
so I
It's
guess
fine.
they're not coming for me. Another day, another dollar, I say.
Gosh, there's a lot of photos on like this Unsplash website, which is free stock photos.
Oh.
That on a side tangent, speaking of ADHD, this concept of liminal space has been kind of an obsession of my brother's, and I've kind of adopted it also. And it's just about, it's definition wise, quote from, I think this is Wikipedia, yeah. So liminality is the quality of ambiguity or disorientation that occurs in the middle stage of a rite of passage. And liminal space, according to aesthetics.fandom.com, an aesthetic that refers to the feeling of being in a transitional space. So it's a dreamlike state that is so vague and so familiar, but also you've never been there before. So it's a very psychological, strange thing. But Unsplash has so many photos like that. I will put that in a comment. I will put the subreddit in the comments. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
It's just fascinating.
Well, you and your brother are nerds, so you know.
We also like talking about dreams, unlike someone I know.
Well, I don't care for dream talk, folks. Okay.
Dreams are like a window into the psyche, dude.
Dreams are, everyone has one, and no one cares.
You don't care. I care a lot.
You care a lot about dreams. I don't.
I'm sad. That makes me very sad.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way about dreams.
When are you gonna stop being negative?
About dreams?
Yeah, about everything right
No,
now.
I'm very happy right now.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, I really enjoyed watching Demon Night. I thought it was very solid. That's a good move. But
continue on with what you were saying about the movie, because I did derail.
Oh, it's okay. But no, I mean, that's a pretty solid movie. It's weirdly, not weirdly. It's only really of like one of two Tales from the Crypt movies to officially come out, because Well, actually, there's a whole story behind this too, and there's probably people who know this already, but I'm probably treading whatever. But I just love this bit of you know, facts and stuff because it's like, or a factoid, whatever. I find it very interesting because it all kind of links up time wise. But so basically, Demon Knight was supposed to be the second one in this like trilogy that they had planned out because they wanted to do a Tales from the Crypt movie like basically every year, which would have been awesome.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah, like just a theatrically released Tales from the Crypt episode or movie, like a feature-length movie every year, and with like a different story and like, you know, with some elements being reused and blah blah blah. Only issue was, so they had like Demon Knight planned out, and then they had this other one called Bordello of Blood.
Okay.
Which is it's garbage. It's like, it's actually one of like the worst horror films ever made. Actually, it's got Dennis Miller, known like just like, you know, I don't know. You either like Dennis Miller or you're just kind of like, you know, because he's like very he's got a funny style, but not in this movie, and he's kind of a jerk in real life, and you know, conservative, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, it's just one of these comedians is very you either like him or you hate him, basically.
Yeah.
And he's mildly, and that's the thing, it's like either you like him or hate him, and he's the best part of that movie. So what's that say about the movie, you know?
Okay.
Basically it was just this like critical like flop just waiting to happen, and the way they kind of planned it out was like, oh shoot, we're gonna screw ourselves if we put out Bordello of Blood first. Let's put out Demon Knight first, and then see if we can recoup with Bordello of Blood / our third planned movie. And this is true, actually. It was originally going to be From Dusk Till Dawn, like Quentin Tarantino's From Dusk Till Dawn, with like, you know, Robert Rodriguez directing and stuff. But you know, it just was too big of a budget for them to handle. / eventually, like, you know, Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez were like, we'll just make it on our own because this is just too good of a story for a Tales from the Crypt thing. And yeah, it kind of stinks because then we didn't get that. We didn't get. I mean, with the failure of Bordello of Blood, we didn't get. You know, all these Tales from the Crypt movies that could have been, you know, it could have been like a big franchise going today, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there's always room for that.
Yeah. But that's just a fun little bit of history about it. Like, because they've been talking about bringing back Tales from the Crypt for years. I think M. Night Shyamalan was working on like a reboot that kind of went nowhere, and then like...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It just kind of... ultimately, though, with a lot of these things, it's just like a rights issue, and I think the guy who holds on to the rights for Tales from the Crypt is just kind of like being difficult, you know?
Oh.
Which it just kind of happens, and
Yeah.
I don't blame them. It's a lot of times these guys who are just kind of like, give me money, you know?
Right.
And it's like, okay. Which I feel like I'd be angry about that in the past, but it's just like... I don't know. With the current trends of like how all these studios are treating, you know, all these intellectual properties, I am kind of like, you know what? Yeah, no, they should pay out, you know?
Yeah. You know what? No.
You know what? No. They should pay out. But yeah. That's, so that was Demon Knight. And then literally yesterday, because I watched that on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. And then yesterday I kind of did a double feature, one in the morning, one while I was working. Well, so I guess it wasn't technically a double feature. Well, what's the difference? Okay, so double feature, do you count it if it's like, obviously back to back, that's a double feature. But what about like if you watch one thing... and then hours later, you watch another movie. I don't know. I still kind of...
I would count that, I think.
I count that as a double feature for the day.
Yeah, because, I mean, not. I mean, it's hard for most people, I think, to get through so many movies. Will, you are a very special case in a sense where, like, you will sit and do movies all day.
Yeah,
if you had a choice, you would do that every day.
I probably would, actually.
And there's nothing wrong with it because that's your passion. It's just something to be aware of, is that, like, this question probably doesn't come up for a lot of people.
I suppose that's true. I thought you were going to say, like, oh, yeah, you do that all day, and it's destroying our pre-marriage. And I was going to say, like, yeah, you know what, that's fair.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Oh, okay. It's okay if you want to say it.
So, if something is destroying our pre-marriage, does that mean our marriage is fine?
Well, no, it means, like, if our pre-marriage doesn't go off without a hitch, you know, it's kind of like when a space shuttle kind of takes off and stuff, and it's got all those components and stuff that break apart, you know, while it's going through this various atmospheres and stuff.
Okay.
If one of those couplings doesn't, like, detach in time, that whole shuttle's blowing up. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So that's the pre-marriage thing.
So we're just ruining our marriage.
Yeah, potentially. I could be ruining our marriage.
Oh, well, why are you being such a jerk?
I'm not being a jerk. I'm saying, like, that's... Oh, well, all right. Can't win.
Oh, kidding.
Kidding, everybody.
Kidding.
We love each other. You know, on Anthony Mass's show, he brings on his fiancée. Doesn't let her talk. Doesn't let her talk.
What?
That's what I heard. I know.
What?
I know.
Oh my
It's true.
God.
She stands on the side.
Oh my God.
She's not even on camera.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
you're not on camera, but, like, you know,
I
you
don't want
you
to
have.
be on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at one point.
Maybe we'll get you on camera. Once we get a better setup, like, yeah, anything's possible.
Okay. Kind
'Cause
of like
honestly,
this wood.
this webcam's pretty terrible, ultimately, for a lot of, like, because I'm sorry, like, I know this is probably not the most crisp, pristine image.
What is how does this wood look?
Deanna is working with wood on a screen right now, and it looks good.
Does it look like the book is sitting on the wood?
It looks like it's hovering above the wood.
That's what I'm trying to avoid.
It's like just a cast shadow thing that I think you gotta just kind of hit.
So
Deanna's doing some Photoshop stuff right now while
trying to mock up things that I've worked on in the past. So if I want, say I did a book cover, I want the book to be on a... I want it to have, like, a pretend... I want it to be mocked up on a real book. Like, almost like somebody took a photo of the real book. I don't know if that made any sense.
No, I think that made sense.
Okay.
Sorry, I also got distracted. Someone messaged me. In any case, so yeah, I guess for all intents and purposes, I did a double feature yesterday. First thing in the morning, 11 a.m., I think, I was kind of like, alright, what's a horror film I can start my day off with? And I went right to HBO Go and saw they had a bunch of Nightmare on Elm Street films, including, well, they didn't have Dream Warriors, which would be my go-to, but they did have a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Have you seen this one, hon?
I don't know.
Okay, well, basically, it's a follow-up to Dream Warriors, which we've definitely sat down and watched. And that's the one where, like, the kids get the dream abilities to fight
Right.
Freddy, and it's got the Dawkins song.
The Dawkins... Oh,
Do you know the Dawkins song?
I think so.
Do you want to do it with me?
No.
Okay, I'll do it.
Do it.
With the Dream Warriors.
Oh, that, yeah.
Don't have to go to bed.
So you did a good job.
They're the Dream Warriors. Don't have to bed. Because we've had this discussion, too, where it's like, what's the better rock out of the big two, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th? Both had, like, heavy metal bands do like original songs for him. Alice Cooper versus Dokken, and I think Dokken gets the win.
Art by Callie. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
What have I come into? We're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Part 4, but
4.
technically we're talking about right now the theme song, like the original rock songs for
for horror movies.
Yeah.
So for part
the
4, it was
the
the
Dokken theme that they use for Dream Warriors, aka Dream Warriors.
It's funny.
And then Alice Cooper's The Man Behind the Mask for
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's the man
and behind the mask, bam, bam, he's out of control. He's back.
Well, how much can we sing of these songs?
Well, that's it. Well, look, I'm gonna say right now, if we're singing it badly, they're not gonna come for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go check out real songs.
Yeah, that's the thing. They'll just kind of like, oh yeah. But to end that discussion, though, I think the Dokken song is better than the Alice Cooper one. What are your thoughts?
Between Dream Warrior and
Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors.
Dream
and
Warriors.
The Man Behind the Mask.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I like The Man Behind the Mask.
All right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a better song.
No, for sure. And this is your opinion. That's wrong, but no.
Thanks.
I mean, well, the only issue I have with like The Man Behind the Mask is like just the lyrics are just kind of dumber than Dream Warriors.
I think that might be why I like it.
What's that?
I think that might be why I like it.
Yeah, because it just is that one. What's the thing? He's listing the stuff, and he never sleeps, and he always walks, and he knows your house. He knows your house.
He knows your house, which is
it's like that's not even
lyric.
Yeah, it's not even like he knows where you live, which is what he's trying to imply.
He knows your house.
He knows your house.
But what if someone has an identical house to you?
What if you live in a condo, kind of gated community?
Yeah, what happens when you're in a suburban town just like in Edward Scissorhands and almost every house looks the same?
Yeah. Oh, who wins in a fight there? Jason versus Edward Scissorhands.
Jason.
Really?
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know about that.
Are you kidding me?
Edward Scissorhands, he's like a machine, though.
He's so broken.
But he's a machine, technically.
Yeah, but he also is more like Frankenstein.
Yeah, but we never...
I know he's like a machine.
But he kills people pretty easily, though, too.
You can't compare him to Jason at all.
Well, no, I'm not comparing him to I'm just saying, like...
In a match, there's no compare. Like, you can't even...
I think he would... I don't know. I think Edward Scissorhands oddly gets the advantage. Because I'm also thinking of Freddy versus Jason. Very similar like...
Well, no, because they both have powers that are outside of normal capabilities. Like, Edward Scissorhands is very bound within the realm of reality, quote-unquote. Like, he's more bound to realistic rules than Freddy or Jason.
I disagree because the fact that he is a machine brought to life. But is he
immortal?
What's that?
He's not immortal.
He is immortal.
But he can be...
No, I remember this now. Do you remember?
He can be yelled at and he cowers.
Yeah, but same thing with boy Jason.
Boy Jason is different than Jason.
Right.
So make it clear which one you're talking about.
All right, I'm just saying, no, because in the Friday the 13th movies, which we have been watching a lot of,
For what reason, Will?
What do you mean?
You love telling everybody about it.
Oh, my box set. Yes, I do have a big old The Shout Factory box. I got all 12 of those little mothers, and I'm so happy.
He's so happy.
But that's the point, though. If you put on the sweater, like Jason's mom's sweater,
you don't have to
Pamela Voorhees' sweater.
Light.
What's that?
Rock sand.
You don't have to put on that red.
You don't have to put on the red light. Sorry. Go ahead.
Red light. Oh, Jason, my boy. No, you put on that sweater, you could sort of control Jason for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he knows.
No, he doesn't, though.
Yeah, at some point he figures it out, especially if you're within the vicinity of his mom's head.
Well, God forbid you shave your head off and you're a little boy.
Oh, and then you go, look.
Jason, look, it's me.
Look,
You.
Look, It's me. You.
Oh, I get it. And that's what Jason said. That's what he would say if he wasn't a mute frog boy. But that's what I'm saying, though. I think we're digressing in the thing of, like...
But I have a question.
Okay.
So, my question is...
We'll put it up to the chat, too. Who do you think wins?
Yeah, okay. In a fight between Jason
versus...
and Edward Scissorhands...
Edward.
Who wins? Because we've established that Edward Scissorhands is immortal and technically a machine.
Yeah, because at the end of Edward Scissorhands, he's still up on that mountain, and he's, like, making all those ice sculptures... While an old Winona Ryder is all like, I wouldn't want to go up there. I think you would be surprised at how old I got.
Yeah.
Pretty solid Winona Ryder impression.
Great job, Will.
Thank you. Thank you.
But we also know that Jason is, like, depicted as a whirlwind of supernatural force. He can just pop in and out of realities.
I think you're thinking of Freddy.
Not Freddy, sorry. No, not realities. I'm sorry. He can just pop into wherever he needs to be. So he just appears.
Right, and that's just kind of
like... He was there, and then he wasn't, and then he disappears. He's just...
Yeah, he can shift around. Like, he's like Nightcrawler, technically speaking, with, like, his ability to kind of be like, he's over there, now he's behind you, kind of thing.
All right, so Art by Callie said... they haven't seen any of the movies, which is fine.
That's fine.
But in looking at the characters, Edward Scissorhands looks like they would win.
I mean, that's the thing. He's got those cool belts.
In comparison, though, how tall between the two?
That I can't speak to. Because Jason, for sure, he's a big old boy. He's hulking.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy, you know?
He's like 8 feet tall, I think.
I wouldn't say 8 feet tall. I'm gonna say like a solid 6'7".
All right, I'm gonna look this up.
We might as well Google it. We have the Google machine here, so we don't have to do all conjecture, as you can see right now.
We can do active fact checking.
Active fact checking. That's the thing, because like
that's what's best about our channel.
On this thing, especially when it comes to like horror movie stuff, we got to have our facts right because honestly, I don't want to look like a dope. There, I said it. Dope.
Okay, so how tall is...
Jason Voorhees.
Winona Ryder.
Oh, okay.
Because we see a picture of Winona Ryder hugging Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, wait, so you're going
because they don't have it. Well, no, yeah, we have to do both.
Well, no, go Jason first.
Why?
Because I think...
do both.
What was that?
We'll do both.
Well, no, I want to know, because I'm saying 6'7". That's my guess.
Jason Voorhees, how tall?
Yes.
Someone asked how old. 6'5"? That's it?
6'5". Wow.
He really just has a menacing...
Well, I mean, 6'5".
He's bulky.
My dad's 6'4", so that gives you kind of like, you know.
But your dad is a lean man.
Yes. He's a
running man.
He's also an Anglophile. Let's just get that out of the way.
That was unnecessary, but...
I know.
But Jason has the muscles of the muscles of a bodybuilder with the beer gut of a 50-year-old man.
I don't think it's weird. It's like
he's husky. He's like
that's also
like I used to be really really fit and then I kind of let myself go a little bit.
Right.
Kind of thing.
But that's the issue with Jason is like the fact that like since there's so many different like stuntmen and like actors who play him, it's like yeah, some of the Jasons are going to have a paunch and everything. And then some of the Jasons are just kind of like, that's just a bulky Kane Hodder looking muscle man.
Yeah, Kane Hodder is the guy who does, if you look up a picture of him.
Yeah. Kane Hodder is the...
He's like bulky dad bod, that muscular bulky dad bod.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So, okay. So now we know... Jason is 6'5".
Right.
Jason is, so that Art by Callie knows, is a, here, let me just read it from the fan thing.
Okay. I'm glad we're getting into this.
That's way too long. No way.
Yeah, I mean, like, thank God for all these different fan pages that can, like, get into this sort of thing, you know, but it is also, like,
Will, give us a little synopsis
Of
while I look this up.
of
Just like literally 2 sentences of who Jason is.
well, Jason Voorhees is the undead son of like Frog Boy, who was drowned when he was like
Frog Boy?
yeah, he's a frog boy.
Oh, he is a frog boy. I thought you said he was the undead son of Frog Boy.
Oh, well, I actually don't know who his dad is. Maybe his dad is Frog Man because he's a little frog boy.
Anyway, 2 sentences.
2 sentences. Yeah, he's an undead slasher monster man that just kind of kills teenagers that come to bug him at his like
He's deformed.
What's that?
He's deformed.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever speak.
Yeah, he's a silent killer kind of.
Edward Scissorhands is, according to this biography, created by an eccentric inventor.
Vincent Price.
Inventor dies before he's able to complete Edward.
And give him hands.
Edward leaving him with scissors instead of hands. Okay. And lives alone in the inventor's mansion for an unknown period of time, but he is busy making art out of plants. Is literally what this says. On the Tim Burton fandom wiki.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's the official.
So, Edward Scissorhands, so how tall is Winona Ryder?
Well, how tall is Johnny Depp?
Why?
Because he plays him. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Oh, that would make more sense.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, is he in platform shoes or anything?
All right, so give him an extra inch.
Okay, because, like, it looks like...
He's definitely wearing platform shoes, but...
Some kind of... Oh, no, you know what? He's not.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh, yeah, look. I'm looking at the image right now, folks, and he's got, like, slippers on. He's got, like, Crocs.
No, they're not Crocs. They're, like, old-fashioned leather... pointy shoes.
Moccasins.
They're not moccasins.
All
no.
right. Loafers.
He is a species. Okay, gender, male. Species,
right.
artificial human. Hair, black. Eyes, brown. Residence, the inventor's house. Okay, how tall is Johnny Depp?
I'm gonna ask why all the rum is gone.
5'10".
5'10". Okay, so that's like a no. Okay, so he's got like a foot on him.
Yeah, Jason is easily far larger than...
Well, not a foot, but yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jason definitely has the strength and like the size and all that. I don't know. I just imagine like Edward Scissorhands. He's got those scissor hands, and you push him,
Jason's got a machete.
Yeah, I know, but
giant machete.
But he's got them slicer dicers. Like he could do like, you know.
But he's only into horticulture. He's not into killing people.
But when you push him and stuff, he can kill.
But it was an accident. In the movie, it was an accident.
Not the well, okay. Now we don't want to spoil anything because, you know, just in case.
It might be fun. Art by Callie, you might like those movies. If you like scary movies, although Edward Scissorhands is more of a creepy romantic story. It's a sad romance.
It's
story.
A beautiful movie. I will say that. I love that. And it's a lot of great performances and stuff. It's like, but it's also like every Tim Burton film where it's just like weird outsider adjusting to the
but they were one of the good original movies that he made before he started making remakes.
Before it just kind of was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Although I do like, if we're talking Tim Burton, I do like, even though I don't like the movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I like how he portrayed Willy Wonka.
That's interesting. I think you're the only person.
Really? Because he was just so creepy.
He's very creepy, but that's the thing.
There's nothing beats Gene Wilder's.
Well, that's the thing. Like, ultimately, the Gene Wilder original portrayal is just kind of like so... It's like so ingrained into just kind of like, you know, movies and stuff. It's like if it were like, I don't know, like, hey, let's remake Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's just like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? You know, like, it's like that's just...
Art by Callie says, I think this is in response to my question about what kind of movies. It depends for me. If it's something that could never happen in real life, I'm normally fine. So Jason...
Well, Jason, it's like, you're not going to run into him unless you're like at camp.
That's Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
I keep mixing things up. But
I know.
Friday the 13th is not one you want to watch because even though Jason is not possibly real, it still preys on the whole someone is chasing you with a scary knife thing.
Yeah, it's like a slasher.
Edward Scissorhands is way better for you.
Yeah,
that's a lot more fun.
Slashers are like, yeah, there is that uncomfortable thing of like, oh yeah, there's a reality to like a guy going around with a knife stabbing people. So
yeah, I mean that preys on people's fears of serial killers.
Oh, for sure. So I would definitely, if you don't like
just avoid that if you don't like being paranoid.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. That said, Edward Scissorhands, yeah, I definitely recommend. If you've never seen it.
Yeah, but Edward Scissorhands, he would.
Oh yeah, right.
He would definitely die.
You know
he
what?
He would die quick.
I don't know, because that's the thing. I think he's wily. I think you're counting him out already, just because he's like kind of like he's got like a height disadvantage and stuff. You know, you push him. It's like I don't know. It is like Frankenstein and that thing of like
he can't even take alcohol.
What's that?
He can't even drink alcohol.
A lot of people can't. Okay, hon. Like
he can't even handle alcohol. Although it's okay if you can't.
Well, that's the thing.
But he's just not. He's not into extreme issues. Like he'd more likely run away.
Sure, but hey, when push comes to shove, I think Edward like could Rambo style just kind of like just take. He does like a thing where like he takes his hands and everything and he kind of puts them out and stuff and does like a spin move, like a helicopter, like he does flip. You could see him doing flips and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me give you a synopsis of a part of the movie. Although, unless you don't want spoilers.
Yeah, I'd hold off on spoilers.
All right.
All
right.
Ultimately.
All right, because he tries to save people, and all he wants to do is fit in.
That's the thing.
His personality doesn't even he's so thin and scrawny. Even though he has knives for fingers, he wouldn't be able to articulate them fast enough.
Sure, but that's the thing. I got 2 points for you. Okay. Even when he's trying to help people, he sometimes just hurts them.
But emotionally, not... I mean, like, physically, he gets a little tiny cut.
Listen, this battle isn't an emotional battle. This is a battle of powers.
I get it. But he doesn't like to... But it's just as much an emotional thing, because Jason has no emotions.
Well, that's the thing. He would just stab him.
Yeah. So he literally just... Like, as a character, if you're going to look at the character, you got to look at all of the facets of that character.
I understand that. I'm just saying, like, okay, I'm looking big picture here, where it's like scenario. They're at Camp Crystal Lake. Winona Ryder's all like, oh my god, it's coming for me. And it's like Jason, he's got a machete and everything. And, Edward Scissorhands, like, he doesn't shout it, but he says, no. And he comes like spinning out like a helicopter and just like go.
Okay, all right. Riddle me this, Batman.
All right.
Has Jason ever died?
Yeah, several times.
And has he ever been reborn?
He always comes back.
Okay, there you go. That's all I have to say.
But that's the thing.
He reincarnates.
On a 1-1 battle thing.
No.
I think he gets the win.
No.
Okay.
Because he's not... I mean, like, Edward Scissorhands is an unfinished android.
But that's the thing. He's still an android.
He's an unfinished android.
And if you watch Jason X...
part fleshy, part robot. Jason is an entity.
Well, you
can't fight tangible, meaty bits and metal with entity. It doesn't work.
I do want the floor really quickly here.
Okay.
Because in Jason X, he does fight an android, and he gets his butt kicked. So this is true.
Okay, so
this
who wins, though?
Who wins? Well,
Jason does, right?
Well, technically, because Jason... Okay.
Rest my case.
No, you do not. Case is not rested. Counselor, who's the counselor?
No one's a counselor.
I don't know court terms, even though my stepdad is a judge.
Maybe you should have learned.
I want the... No, I don't want to learn. But, No, man, like... Okay, so he only really wins because he becomes a cyborg himself. Like, he gets these nanites and stuff. But, like...
Okay, but do you see, like, he was able to acquire whatever was happening in that movie to beat aforementioned android.
All right, I
so
understand.
He can absorb things.
All right, fair point. I understand what you're saying, where it's like, oh yeah, it's just a long-term game where eventually he gets the win. I'm just looking like short-term, where it's like, I just want to see Edward Scissorhands come flinging out, helicopter style, cutting off the limbs of Jason, and like Winona Ryder's all like, "You gotta
Okay,
go."
that's what you want to see.
Yes.
Probably won't happen.
It won't happen
in your fan fiction. Okay.
All right. That's all. That's.
But what you did was you said, in a battle.
Yes.
Who would win? Jason would win.
I'm saying in a battle, one-on-one battle.
Jason would win.
You say Jason.
Jason would win.
I'm sticking with Edward Scissorhands. And if you agree or disagree, hey, you know, that's your prerogative, bro.
Thank you.
That's how America works. if we can compromise, so can.
Don't even start.
Ugh.
Don't even start.
Ugh. Anyway, so I was watching Nightmare 4. That's a pretty big tangent. But no, I actually loved Nightmare 4 more than I thought I did, because it just kind of is a continuation of Nightmare 3 with the whole, like, you know, they got... It seems like when 3 came around, the dream imagery and stuff, which you love, got more imaginative and kind of, like, visual and, like, inventive and kind of cool. And 4 is just a continuation of that, where basically they had Rennie Harlan just kind of like playing with a lot of like, you know, the visuals and just kind of like, oh, okay, like, because he was like, I saw him in like the Never Sleep Again documentary talking about it and stuff, and he was just kind of like really pushing a lot of these like visual elements and stuff. But also it's like that weird thing of like just kind of, I don't know, that documentary, it's like you really, I really loved it because they showed all the filmmakers, like, warts and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't that thing of like, you know, like, oh, we used to laugh on set, ha ha ha. It's like they do a pretty good job of just laying out, it's like, this is the guy, you know what I mean? And there's like a few of them that you just listen to, they're just like, I think this guy's a creep, but I don't know.
Wait, what?
It's like...
What are you talking about?
I'm just talking about, like, in interviews, some of these, like, directors / producers and stuff, some of them come across as, like, creeps.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, duh.
But there's also, like... Well, that's where I'm, like, a little caught up with, like, Rennie Harlan. Because it's like, oh, yeah, he's Dutch. Like Paul Verhoeven, and it's like he kind of is just bringing like a weird European sensibility to the thing. You know what I mean? No.
A weird European sensibility?
I mean, I don't know. It's like that thing of like, you know, Paul Verhoeven, where it's like all his films are the guy who directed RoboCop and like Starship Troopers and Showgirls and all that.
Okay.
Like, he kind of brings this, like, level of, like, excess and sort of like, yeah, it's fine, you know, we have co-ed shower scene.
Oh, you're talking about sex.
What's that?
Are you talking about sex?
I'm talking about sex. I'm also just talking about, like, these European sensibilities that...
around sex?
Around sex, around violence, kind of, you know.
All right.
That's what I think I'm ultimately
like
talking about.
Trying to get the specifics out of you.
Sure. But... And that's the thing that, like, Rennie Harlan in this interview is just kind of like... Or, like, in the thing, it was just like, oh, we have a beautiful girl, and it's like, you know, we're trying to blah, blah, blah. You know, it's, like, kind of like... It's real... I think in the hindsight of, like nowadays, it's a little, like, oh, looks good, hon.
Does that look better?
Yeah. Deanna's working on her Photoshop.
Does it look like it's sitting on the table more
It
now?
does. It definitely does. The lighting's a lot better. But... Yeah, just like that weird European sensibility where it's like nowadays it's like, okay, this really doesn't fly. Like, it's like the sensitivities like have changed, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know if that was really kosher with that actress. And you can like tell in some of these interviews where they're like, yeah, I wasn't really thrilled. I had to be in a bikini and was a little, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And that's
I never like that.
yeah, it's always like hit or miss and stuff. One of the funnier things though from like that documentary though was this one guy. It was actually pointed out to me too on this podcast I listen to all the time by one of the guys. Who's like, this one guy being interviewed is just so clearly like just kind of like overcompensating for like, you know, something where it's just like, yeah, and you know, my character from the last movie and stuff, you know, his you know, like myself, his only weakness is the ladies, and that's how I got killed. And it's just kind of like, yeah, we get it, dude.
Oh boy.
We understand you like women. It's my one weakness.
Is he
though.
Ian Fleming?
Ian Fleming. He doesn't like women though, honey. Ian Fleming.
Oh.
But no. Once again, Nightmare 4. I actually really liked it. On this this rewatching, it's like it kind of like all the imaginative stuff like really hit. It's a little frustrating because they do really just kill off the characters like within the first 20 minutes of the movie from the first film, just kind of willy nilly, and it's just kind of like, well, that's a bummer, because there was a lot of like I like those characters a lot.
Yeah.
That said, visually it's not a misstep. You know, it's very cool. There's a lot of cool kills. You know, and yeah, no, I actually enjoyed it on this like second, I guess, or not second, but I don't know how many times I rewatched it, but I just enjoyed it more than I did previous times.
Well, that's good.
And the other film, sorry, just to kind of wrap this all up, because we've been going for a while now, was that documentary I watch every time somehow when I'm like a little tipsy and I start to cry.
Oh.
It's true. It's the Spielberg documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. On HBO. So if you have, by the way, if you have HBO Max, both of these things are on there, so go check them out. But yeah, the Spielberg documentary always kind of makes me cry.
Yeah.
Just because of well, it's weird where it's like, as far as accessing my own personal emotions, I'm pretty good with it. That said, there is a lot of, and we discussed this last night too, about like just that sort of survival thing of like growing up / whatever. You do just kind of, eventually you get older, you just kind of put up walls.
Yeah, like when you're trying to get through big issues happening to you when you're not really aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Especially in childhood. Yeah, you to survive, a lot of people just put up an emotional wall. And it's not always the best way to go about doing that.
And that's for sure. Because like no, because that's definitely something like I've done, and it's just kind of like, you know, it's definitely hit or miss, you know. But with me accessing like, you know, the ability to cry or whatever, you know, sometimes I just don't have it in me, and it's like,
well, it allows you to you can learn how to do it, and that's
right.
The thing is, like, at some point you can learn how to do it. But
you know, and a lot of this does stem from like my parents' divorce and stuff like that in my childhood, and that is like, and that's what the thing about that documentary is, like, it is such a, I mean, the first half of it really does deal with like Spielberg's you know, relationship with his parents, because a lot of his films like shaped my childhood in a way that like every time I watch it I do kind of like put my hands on my knees and I'm like, I remember Jurassic Park, I remember that film, I love Indiana Jones. It just kind of like, a lot of his films really are just my childhood in a lot of ways, and in ways that like I subconsciously don't realize, and then like I'll just watch them and I'm like, oh yeah, right, I love this movie. So like just out of nostalgia's sake, I just start crying already. And then like all the stuff with his parents comes in, like, being a child of divorce and all that, and it's very, like, that gets me going, because it's, like, I didn't even really kind of realize that, rewatching a lot of them, too, especially, like, E.T. and stuff, you kind of forget, there's a whole subplot about, like, missing a lot of missing fathers and a lot of,
yeah, it's funny, you might have had an issue with E.T. for not just the alien.
No, I think it was the alien.
No, I mean, the alien might have been the thing that is the catalyst, but you're talking about stuff that, like, your little kid brain didn't understand but was happening to.
I will say this: my parents divorced
after your fear of ET.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
okay,
way
never
after.
mind.
So yeah, it's definitely not.
Never mind.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't really play into it too much, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, I don't know. Oh yeah, full disclosure: as a child, I was terrified of ET and had literal night terrors that ET was coming out of the closet to come and get me. Sure, now it's like...
he does look like a huge testicle.
I mean...
He's a terrifying-looking creature.
It's just like, yeah, it's scary. I don't know. It's just something very unsettling. Originally, they designed E.T. to kind of... this is true. They combined the looks of Albert Einstein and a pug.
No.
Yeah, that was their design, kind of like, oh yeah.
God.
Yeah, so if you look at his face, it's like...
I don't like that.
Yeah, you see the Einstein eyes, but also, like, the pug-like shape. Just, and then just, like,
Nope.
the weird gray alien organic body kind of thing.
Having a hard time with that.
Yeah, I mean, is what it is. They also planned out an E.T. 2, which never got produced.
Art by Kelly says, I loved E.T., but I watched it when I was like 10. Yeah, I think we all did. I think it's one of those things that just we just kind of took it, we just absorbed as children of that, of that time. And whether or not the things in there were good for children to watch is, up for debate, but that's kind of like I think about that and the Goonies at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't watch it when I was 10. I watched it like when I was like 3 or something. So it really...
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, when an alien comes down and you're not over your gender issues yet.
Gender issues?
Well, at the age of 3, most people don't know. It's at the age of 3, you decide what gender you are. Like, I mean, you as a person.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah,
so
like I'm still developmentally not all there.
Like, I am trying to learn who I am, and at that point, like at the age of 2, between 2 and 3, someone goes, "I am a boy, I am a girl, or I am nothing." Like they identify or they don't, and it doesn't matter what sex they are. It's interesting science, but
sure.
That's the period where they're just like, "Oh, I have object permanence." And I can cause trouble. I need to push my boundaries to find out what's okay and what isn't. And then when you're watching E.T. at that developmental age, you're like, oh, aliens are gonna come down. And
well, I will say
I'm gonna find a testicle. And
see, I didn't even like. Well, look, I've always had a thing with that. Like, full disclosure too. I watched like Alien way too young too.
Well, I mean,
I think
you watched E.T. before Alien, right?
I think so.
You think so? You watched Alien before the age of 3?
I don't. Well, no, I don't know. Well, that's the thing. It's like that. That's a whole thing of like I don't that blurs together. I don't know which one I saw first, but I had vivid nightmares of both, and now it's like I kind of love both. The alien more so ultimately, but it's looking pretty good though. Not bad.
You're doing great.
But yeah, no, the alien. Well, now the alien's like a beloved creature that like. Well, I inked last week actually. If you got that like last stream. Oh, I completely lost that train of thought. What was I saying?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We were talking about
Spielberg and all that. Yeah, but in any case, like, yeah, I'll just kind of wrap that up because like I'm getting to that point where like I probably should wrap up this stream. But But either way, the documentary I really love. It's one of those that like it affects me emotionally in a way that I never really expect going in, and it's like kind of like, oh yeah, because it is like a lot of his work is so. It just influences me in like on a subconscious way that I just never really expect, you know? Be it like, you know, with like nostalgia / you know, horror.
I think we should do a little, like, at the end of your streams, we should do a little recommendation panel.
Well, I'm going to do plugs, all that. And I mind you, everything I'm talking about right now, I totally recommend. If you haven't seen Demon Night, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, the Spielberg documentary, go check it out, you know?
Yeah. And what I've been reading is, I really love psychology. I love learning about how the brain works, and I love, like, the science behind how people think in general. So, I read Good Morning Monster. I can't remember who it's by. Catherine... Oh, hold on. Good Morning Monster is about, this it's a true book. It's a psychologist documenting her 5 most impactful cases, and I just I think I had a therapeutic breakthrough reading the book. Like it was a very insightful book, and so it's called Good Morning Monster, and it's written by, where is it?
Well, all right.
I can't find it. What? Oh, Catherine Gildener.
Okay.
Yeah. That book really changed my brain a little bit.
Well, that's a solid retcon.
Yeah. And then, the other book I read was Gulp by Mary Roach.
Oh, okay.
About the digestive tract.
Oh,
really
yeah,
fun.
right.
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, honestly, like, I'm close to just kind of closing it up here. I'm probably gonna just do like a little bit more. Plus, I don't know. We've been having a good conversation. We might keep going for a little bit longer, but
yeah, looks like we have 4 people watching.
All
Hi,
right.
guys.
Yeah, we'll keep going for a little longer because I have a bunch of Instagram questions too. I put up a prompt on Instagram. You know, if you want to, you're probably following me on there already, but yeah, at Will Pottorff. And definitely check out Deanna's Instagram at Deanna Burke Art on Instagram.
Deanna Burke Burke.
But yeah, no, I got a couple questions here. Not too many, but one of them is pretty thought provoking. The other one's just kind of a classic debate question. Which would you like first?
You asking me?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Partner, my love. Answer me.
Oh my God.
Answer me.
Can you state that again for me?
I have one thoughtful question about art, and then I have like a classic question.
All right, so we'll do classic question first, and then we'll cap it off with the art question.
Okay, that's probably fair. So from let's see here, from Scott Air Balloon, Scott Hayden, I think is his actual name. He's a artist. He has the classic question: werewolf or vampire?
Vampire.
I'm gonna have to go with werewolf.
That's why we're the perfect couple to be in Underworld.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Let rephrase that because it's not. And this is Underworld. I'm a lichen.
Okay. Well,
you're
they're werewolves.
What's that?
They're werewolves.
No, they're okay. They're
are werewolves,
but they're lichens.
Okay.
Use their terminology.
Whatever.
Okay. If we're in the look.
Listen, that's a junk food movie for me.
I understand that.
I'm okay with, like...
I love those movies, too. They are definitely a junk food movie.
You and I should drink a lot and then go watch...
Let's watch Evolution. Evolution was my favorite one, actually.
We should just watch all of them, because we have the time now.
See, that's the issue, though.
Or Kelly says vampire.
Oh, okay, so we got vampire... Okay. Or does she mean a death dealer? Or, sorry, they. I don't mean to... Was that?
Death dealer.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I have a question, though.
Okay.
If vampire, does anyone else play Vampire the Masquerade? Or Vampire the Requiem?
Or Werewolf the Apocalypse?
And that's an open question. It's a role-playing game pen and paper game. Also played by Stream of Blood, who that stream Will does artwork for, and they do stories. They do campaigns. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's with vampires, and so they do campaigns with actors and actresses.
Yeah,
like professionals. So it's actually it's far more entertaining than playing with your buddies who have no idea how they're supposed to be playing it. It's so cool, but there are different clans of vampire, so I need someone to nerd out with, I guess, is my... What's your clan, man?
Well, okay, that's a
loaded...
That's a loaded thing to say.
It's a lot of things.
But I'm going werewolf either way. And we'll definitely watch the Underworld movies at a different time.
Well, we'll have to do the Underworld movies and then do a full review.
I don't know if I'll do all of them again, though, because some of them...
We'll have to do... I know, some of them are bad.
Yeah, like, because that's
really
the thing.
Bad.
I don't... Because I'll do, like, the first two. I don't like the first one, actually, oddly enough. The second one's my favorite one.
I see, like, even to this day, even though I watched it a number of times, I can't remember which one was which.
Well, Evolution's the one before Kate Beckinsale kind of took a break from the franchise. Like, that was the last one she did.
See, like, I know you anchor movies with actors and
right.
actresses, but I don't. It's usually, for me, it's plot.
Okay. That's the one after the events of the first one where they're on the run from, like, the vampires, and there's the Omega old vampire who's got the big old bat wings. You remember that one?
That's pretty standard, yeah.
Marcus.
That happens in, like, all of those vampire movies.
But no, there's always the elder vampires.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to pick one. And watch it, and then we'll relay it to you.
Well,
I just put the Stream of Blood podcast on Stitcher.
Oh yeah, that's on there.
But they also have a YouTube channel, which I'm also...
Sure. Well, we can plug everything at the end for that stuff too, because I got a lot of plugs at the end I wanted. But do you want the other question? Are
yes,
we kind of...
Tell me the other question.
All right. Well, this one comes from our good buddy Tim Oliver as well. I love Tim.
Hi, Tim.
And this one's kind of thought-provoking. At least I had to think on it. What's something you've always wanted to draw, but for whatever reason, haven't yet?
I can easily answer this question.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still thinking about it. So go for it.
Any dreamscape that I've ever dreamt. And that's super vague, but anytime I try and render my dreams in an illustration, it never works. It never satisfies. Like, I look at it and it is not real. But my dreams are so realistic that I have a hard time, like, when I come to, it feels like they've happened. And in fact, a lot of times they are very, very, like, I have sensations, like physical sensations and things that I wake up with. And maybe this is an issue, but sometimes I can't, like, I have a hard time getting out of that space. Like, I feel like I'm in between that dream and reality in a more intense way than most people say, well, I'm still dreaming, I'm still asleep. I literally go, well, if I, like, my brain will start to travel into, like, thought processes from the dream. So if I need to do something, I'll go to this area, but I'll realize that the area is my dream, not reality. So it's like, it becomes kind of an issue, and then, but I don't know. If I ever try to draw it, it never ever accurately depicts what it is, and I'm afraid that if I do it, I'll lose it. Like, I'll lose the actual sensation. Like, I will lose the vision in my brain in favor of the picture I drew. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
It's very intense. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, like, that's definitely something, like, I honestly, like, I'm still thinking on mine, because, like, there's a bunch of stuff I've, like, wanted to draw, but, like, I don't know, I just kind of, like, I guess if I had to pick one, though, mine's a little less, like, I don't know, like, nebulous is the word, probably not the right word, but, like...
No, that's
it's more of a, like, I've always really wanted to draw, like, a big, like, action comic book panel, like, splash page, essentially, and I just kind of haven't been able, like, I've started some, and kind of, like, I've even written out comics and the intent, with the intent to kind of, like, you know, ultimately draw, you know, I've done the whole script where I'm like, okay, there's going to be, like, this crazy splash page that I'm gonna put in that I'm gonna draw, because I have to do these because I want to do comics and stuff, you know. Oh, sorry, is there a question, or
oh no, we talked about this, man.
what do you mean?
I was gonna signal you when I saw a comment.
Oh, well, what's the comment?
And you weren't gonna acknowledge it until you were done speaking.
Oh, okay.
Are you all set?
Well, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry, we haven't done this in a while.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
so
true. I'm sorry.
Don't bite my head off.
I'm not biting your head off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in your dreams.
I'm sorry.
What's the comment, though?
Okay, so art by Callie, that portal scene from Avengers Endgame. I'm not at that skill level yet, but one day I want to draw that scene.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, yeah, like something like that scale, but it's like, you know, it's that weird thing of, like, understanding your I hate to say that thing too, but it is kind of like a relief where, like, there was a period of time when I was, like, younger, and I was just kind of, like, comparing myself with these big comic book artists who could do, like, those you know, like, those huge splash pages, and I'm like, man, why can't I do that, blah blah blah.
I guess this question can be taken in two different ways, right?
Right.
So one can be, why haven't you, like, sat down and said, I will do this because I can.
Right.
But I have decided I don't want to. Or, you know, is there something that you have been prevented doing because you don't have that skill yet? So I guess that's an interesting...
I think that's the thing. That's, like, that's really the question. Is it the skill, or is it just the ability / interest? Because it's like, I think, like, I want to do that stuff, but it's like, within my own ability, I know it's like, I could do it, but it's just gonna take forever because it just isn't something I do. You know what I mean? And it's like, should I be happy with that, in the sense of, like, look, a lot of my skills really are, like, I love my individual monsters and stuff like that. Like, I love doing these, like, you know, I love doing character stuff, you know, like, I do scenes, I do environments and stuff. I'm a human.
Do?
I do.
No way.
I do in my toy.
Whoa.
What?
What?
It's true. Ay.
Oh.
But no, I know my range as, like, an artist, I guess.
Well, I guess that is another thing. Like, at some point, as an artist, you realize that what you like may not be what you produce.
Right.
And that's a huge debate that most artists come into contact with. So if you're
conflict with.
No, I mean you contact a conflict, I guess. I don't know. Don't nickel and dime me
I'm
like
sorry.
That. Anyway. No, it's a serious thing. Like, I think every artist that I've talked to, they realize that, like, what they draw may not be what they like, and then they don't realize that, like, I don't know, that what they like is different than what their skill is.
Yeah, and that's fair.
So what you're talking about is your ink work doesn't necessarily look like a polished World of Warcraft, like, or Magic card fantasy illustration, but it does still have skill. And some people have a hard time, like, correlating the thing that I like, I can't do, therefore I'm bad. but that's not true.
Yeah.
If the logic makes sense.
No, that's true. I mean, that's fair because, like, I do remember there was, like, a period of time that I was frustrated with, like, my work, especially in college, because
Same. Yeah.
I was kind of like, well, I want to do concept artwork for, you know, video game companies and stuff, and it was just that thing of, like, looking at other people's stuff that, like, in our classes who could do digital work really well in a way that, like, I was like, why can't I do that? Why don't my speed paintings look like that? You know, why, blah, blah, blah. And it took me, like, 4 years, basically, or 3 years to realize, like, oh, I should just be doing pen and ink. That's kind of my jam.
Yeah,
like,
and in contrast, like, I was looking at my work going, this is really sloppy. And, like, I have really messy sketches. But that's what everybody loved about my work. And all I wanted to do was tighten it up. And every time I tightened it up, everybody was like, what happened? What happened to your work? It was just so cool. And now it's all tight and stuffy. But I had to recognize that the sloppiness was just part of the work. Like the scribbly textures and the just the fingerprints and whatever else, like, comes about by making accidental marks was just part of me. But not what I wanted. Like, what I was looking at were tight rendered illustrations.
And that's the thing. It's like that too. There's, like, yeah, it's like, what would you describe that as? Like, well, you said it before.
Well, like, expectation of your own skill. Although you can teach yourself.
You like.
Yeah, but I mean, so anyone can sit down and teach themselves how to do one thing or another.
That's true. And it is just that thing of, like, oh yeah, then it's, you know, the 10,000 hours thing where it's like,
right.
Okay.
But it also is, like, is this work, like, is that thing that you're trying to accomplish something you like, or is it something you like to produce?
Right.
So if you like to produce it, it may not actually be what you like to look at. And they're two different things.
And that's something you got to come to grips with and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Because I have an eclectic amount of things I like to look at. But the work that I look at is, gosh, it's like Ken Taylor. Like, super tight rendered poster work. Like, vector illustrations. Very, like stipple work. I really love traditional, like, flash tattoos. But I am never going to produce anything that looks like that. And if I did, I wouldn't enjoy it. And so where is I don't know.
Yeah, I hear that too. Like, that's something, like, I find with my stuff too. It's like that line where it's like, oh, okay, you see people who can, like, render stuff, like, hyper realistically,
right?
You know, like,
but what do you enjoy?
Exactly, where it's like it took a while. Like, art school kind of taught me that thing of, like, how to do that, where it's like I can do, like, a realistic portrait of, like, an exact portrait of someone bit for bit, but I don't necessarily,
you don't like it.
I don't like doing that. It's kind of like, it's cool when I am able to get the rendering down that I want, where I'm like, okay, this looks like the guy, but I'm doing it my way, opposed to kind of like how, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and you were like, if we look back on your oil paintings from college, they were wonderful.
Yeah, I mean,
like, you had a future in oil painting, but if that's not you, like, if you don't like it,
yeah, I mean,
you're not gonna go anywhere with it.
And that's the thing. It's like oil painting for sure for me. Like, I enjoyed doing it, but it was also that thing of, like, this kind of, like, there was always, like, a thing of, like, this is frustrating in a way that I can't.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a multitude of levels of frustration with oil.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays with digital and everything.
Well, just with paint in general, I'm not, like, a big painter. You're the painter of our family.
I have an issue with paint. I like it. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels.
Oh, we got a loose
I don't like
hair
cleaning
here,
it
folks.
up. I don't like it when it gets all over my hands.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're also, you're very messy. So already with like paint,
So I have a conflict there. That's why ink is better for me.
Yeah, ink is just kind of, that's my go-to. It's just...
Gouache was a nice in-between. I hated it. I really hated it before, because like traditional gouache, if you use it, you have to mix it like sour cream or else it won't work. You have to add water until it feels like loose sour cream. And if once you start painting, you can't accurately depict the colors while they're wet. They change color as they dry. So you have to know what the color looks like dry before you put it on the paper, which was something as a beginner I didn't anticipate at all.
Yeah, and
and I hated it, but I love it now. It's great.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, I admittedly, my color theory is not the best, so.
I don't know, something clicked in you recently.
Well, that's the thing. I've been practicing more and more. It's like, I definitely.
It is practice. It's a skill.
Ultimately, that's the thing. If like we can imbue any knowledge, whatever, tonight, is the fact that like all this stuff really is like you can do it. You can learn how to do all this stuff.
Anything.
You can do anything, as long as you put that practice in and the time. And it's like,
And if you hate it, don't do it.
Exactly. Do something else. Do something else to creatively that gives you that little bit of a bump.
And if you like it, but you can't create it, it doesn't mean that you are not up to snuff.
Exactly.
There's a quote. Okay, can I end the stream with a quote right before the
Sure, because I'm if you're following along with what I'm doing right now, I'm currently doing like a little ink wash. And just to finish it up, I'm just going to add really quick. This piece isn't finished for sure, but, I can add in some fun little highlights. So I'm going to do that while Deanna does what's the quote exactly, hon? Go for it.
It's a really long quote, but I think it's really, it pertains to this discussion a little bit. And it also, like, kind of expands into the idea of like when an artist doesn't think that they're up to snuff and they make the decision to quit, this is usually why. So Ira Glass is a reporter for NPR.
Yes, Ira Glass.
But this guy had I like him. But the quote is nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But there is a gap. For the first couple of years you make stuff, it's just not that good. It's trying to be good. It has potential, but it's not. But it's your taste. The thing that got you into the game, it's still killer. And your taste is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people never get past this phase. They quit. Most people I know who do interesting creative work went through years of this. We know our work doesn't have this special thing that we want it to have. We all go through this. And if you are just starting out or you are still in this phase, you got to know it's normal. And the most important thing you can do is do a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline, so that every week you finish one story. And side note, story would be, in this case, a painting or a drawing or a sketch. Just fill in the blank. It is only by going through a volume of work that you will close that gap. And your work will be as good as your ambitions. And I took longer to figure that out. I took longer to figure out how to do this than anyone I've ever met. It's going to take a while. It's normal to take a while. You've just got to fight your way through it. And that is... I think about this quote all the time.
And I think about the quote from Batman Begins when Batman confronts...
Batman!
He says, I'm Batman. That's Batman! What he said. He says, I'm Batman, not just Batman. Batman. What a great quote, though. And, that's a good stopping point, too. As you can see, putting a little highlights and stuff, just kind of probably going to keep on working on this until the wee hours of the evening. I do have a lot of work I got to get done tonight. But I want to thank everybody for like coming out and hanging with us, actually. Really appreciate that. Yeah, you were fantastic. If you want to see more of my artwork, we talked about it before, but Stream of Blood, I do a lot of artwork for them. Jared Logan's Stream of Blood, you can check them out on Twitch. They have a bunch of games they're running this weekend. If you want to check out their Instagram page / their Twitch page, they'll give you the schedule. I think this Saturday, 6 p.m. Western time, Western Coastal, so it's like 9 p.m. here. They're having a Neptune Society where I'll have a bunch of my artwork in it, so definitely check that out. Same thing with like their Vampires game that they run on Sunday.
It's wonderful.
It's really cool.
And all this stuff is in the comments, too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, check that out in the comments. If you like my voice and my comedy antics, me and my buddies, we run we have our own show. It's a radio drama / podcast, The Slanted Hallway. It's a comedy, basically the dumb version of the Twilight Zone. That's the best way I can. It's all written.
It's not that dumb. It's very smart.
It's very smart.
The characters are dumb,
but yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, we got a new episode coming out this Wednesday, so look out for that. Give us a listen. All that. If you like our artwork, for sure, just follow us on Instagram. I'm at Will Pottorff on everything, and Deanna's at Deanna Burke on everything else.
Deanna Burke Art. Deanna
Burke Art, sorry. But yeah, no, guys, we'll be back next week. I'll be probably inking some other horrible monster thing. And honestly, like, thanks again for watching. Like, these are always so much fun, and I honestly hope you all had fun too tonight.